Hey there, Internet. R. Felix Finch, Frisco Flame here once again. We are getting into the 6th episode of Underground Lucha Things, the Lucha Underground retrospective, where I, someone who somehow never watched Lucha Underground, goes through and discovers this Robert Rodriguez offering. If you'd like to join us, take a look at Tubi.tv, where they have the shows streaming for free as of this recording. And here to help me out, though, because, see, I don't know much about Lucha Underground, but I do have somebody with me who watched it when it aired, and I'm bringing in the one, the only, Mid-Carmana's Angie FN, or Loose Cannon. Angie, how are you doing?
I am good. Thank you for having me on the show, and I'm enjoying this Lucha retrospective. It's been definitely fun to remember all these things that happened 6 years ago. Can't even believe it's been 6 years.
Yeah, and this most recent thing, this Underground Lucha thing, happened. It's episode 6, The Key. Original air date, December 3rd, 2014. We're getting into the holiday season here, folks. Will we have anything Christmas themed? Who knows? I haven't gotten that far yet. But you know what? Let's take a look. And is every show going to open in Cueto's office? Because Big Rick is in there signing his Lucha Underground contract, and Cueto says that things are going to get more entertaining.
Yeah. I loved his whole, you have officially signed a big money contract. This is incredible. I love it. Ball hard, Big Rick. Ball hard.
Yeah, something I talked about with the old co-host, Brittany, is that I like the fact that they got an actor to be the authority figure. Like, it's not a former wrestler.
Right?
The fact that they have someone who's like, you know what? Let's have someone who can actually act here. Who knew that, having an actual actor would make so much of a difference in the presentation of your product?
Yeah, no, it's really interesting to look back and remember, because I totally didn't realize that he was just an actor. I thought he was. I thought he was like Dario Cueto, like how, WWE, like Stephanie McMahon's actually Stephanie McMahon, although, fictionalized sort of Stephanie McMahon. So, yeah, when I found out he was an actor, I totally blew my mind. Yeah. But then I was like, it makes so much sense, and it makes such a huge difference to have someone who's used to that sort of style kind of helping to guide the narrative and the storyline.
Oh, for sure. I definitely agree. And it's funny because I recognize him from a movie that I love. It is damn near impossible to get. It's called The Boys and Girls Guide to Getting Down. It's one of my favorites. I'm going to find it and I'll upload it somewhere. But yeah, it's a great film overall. And here we have it in his office. Again, the lighting's so different. Ivelisse and Son of Havoc are in the ring to start us out, and Ivelisse is lamenting about Son of Havoc having to.
He wants justice for Son of Havoc. The first match that he had here, he fought against Sexy Star, a woman. Then he fought against half a man with Mascarita Sagrada. He signed a 7-year contract, man. He signed a 7-year contract, and if she knew that they were going to be relegated to doing this kind of stuff, maybe they wouldn't have signed. But then who comes out? His next opponent.
Yeah, like I said, it was interesting because apparently they have a 7-year contract, so they are still signed to Lucha Underground until next year, apparently till 2021. So, good luck with collecting on that. And like the internalized misogyny was kind of strong here.
It was weird. I was like, I mean, Ivelisse, would you be saying that about yourself?
Yeah, and
yeah.
But yeah, Son of Havoc with his totally real and not fake post-produced voice is saying that he will challenge anybody man to man.
Anyone that has the balls to come out there.
Yes, and it is Pimpinela Escarlata arriving to answer the call. So that's our first match, is a Son of Havoc with Ivelisse versus Pimpinela Escarlata. And it is awesome to see an Exotico here. Although
I was going to say,
it is weird because when they're naming exoticos like Cassandra, they name Adrian Street. They name The Miz as a flamboyant gimmick on commentary, and I'm like,
I mean,
one of these things is not like the others.
Maybe there's something that we don't know about The Miz. Maybe he had a run somewhere else that we're not aware of. Who knows? Who knows? You know, Vampiro and Matt Striker are very knowledgeable as far as wrestling history. Maybe they know something we don't know.
I don't know, but Pimpinela is able to get his due against both Ivelisse and Son of Havoc. And Pimpinela is super over with the crowd. And
oh yeah, crowd eats it up. Also, those boots though.
Yeah, and also Pimpinela, because I've also met Pimpy in real life, deceptively tall. Pimpinela
I believe it.
is a deceptively tall individual. And the heel, oh yeah, those heels, the heels get the cheat on with Ivelisse jumping onto Pimpy at any chance given. There's a cool like flagpole elbow drop from Son of Havoc.
I have that in my notes too. Like, you know, right after Pimpinela falls out of the ring, you know, and you're looking and you're wondering, oh my God, is it a shoulder? Was it a shoulder bump? Did it hurt the wrist? What happened? And then, you know, does the flagpole elbow drop, and it's just, it just hurt. Ugh.
Yeah, it's still a very cool move. Also, like Matt Cross, super ripped, super strong. I got super light. I got it. Rick Knox is like unable to hear anything Ivelisse apparently is doing directly behind him.
Right?
Masquerita Sagrada comes out to chase off Ivelisse and make the save, and then and I think Pimpy hit a kiss, then a roll up, but the kiss is shot from a bad angle, so you don't really see it. It's kind of you can barely see it. It's more so implied. I don't know if that was just a bad angle that they ended up going with, or if that was intentional for television. But it was a lot of fun. The match was fun.
I enjoyed it, and I thought as I was rewatching it, I'm like, man, you know, back in 2014, having an Exotico on television, it's not really something that American audiences have really seen a whole lot of when you look at the bigger networks or bigger companies that had wrestling. I mean, you've seen, you know, Dragon Wrestling and stuff like that, but you haven't seen the Exotico type of character, which has some of the same aspects, but is definitely very different as far as presentation. And of course, I don't even need to explain this to you because that's you.
Yeah, yeah, no, I know all about Exoticos, but yeah, Exoticos have a really rich history in Luchador. Here, they're always flamboyant or, you know, playing mind games. Like the closest you'll think of if you're thinking of that is a Goldust or an Adrian Street or a Billy and Chuck, which, not gonna lie, loved Billy and Chuck growing up, but especially loved Rico. But Rico was basically a carbon copy of Adrian Street with Adrian Street's permission. So I am all about that. And we cut backstage, and Johnny Mundo attacks Dario in the oh-so-well-lit locker room.
I know, God. My note here is, I love the grunginess of the sets. And, you know, it looks so good and grungy, and it you know, even with how cinematic all this is, you know, they could afford nicer facilities. Like, they could shine that up a little bit more. So it's all just, it's so cool to see these are their choices that they're making.
For some reason, it looks like something out of a Robert Rodriguez film.
I mean, hey, I think he owns El Rey Network.
Yeah, that was the joke, yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my bad.
But yeah, but he attacks him while he's using the restroom. I mean, come on, he doesn't even get to wash his hands. And
I know.
Also,
I was just like.
Also, why doesn't Cueto have his own like private locker room, his own private restroom that is like office adjacent?
He's a man of the people.
Like his you know, or did he spend all his private restroom money on lighting for his office and somehow having a window to the outside in a temple at night? I have no I don't know what happens there. I want, like I said, I do want to see a floor plan of the temple so we can kind of get to see what's going on here. But Mundo does steal Cueto's key as a insurance policy in case there's any funny business tonight. And next up, we have Famous B versus Mil Muertes with Catrina. And again, this is kind of cool. It's an enhancement match. I know Famous B. I remember Famous B from before he even started training. Or like just from when he started training, I should say, before he was actually wrestling down there in SoCal. One of the it's one of the SoCal people I'm sure we'll see throughout the run of this show. He's from the Santinos, and Mil continues his MO of immediate attack, and Catrina apparently tries to break Famous B's neck. There's a flatliner for the win. Why they haven't, I don't know why they haven't called it something more on brand. I mean, yes, I know a flatline is a cause of is something you'll show only when you're dead, but I feel like, even something like the death rattle, something would be a good name. Flatliner just makes it sound too generic.
To make it his, yeah. I never thought of that. I when I first started watching Lucha Underground, I was not great at remembering names of moves, and so I liked Flatliner because I thought that was only his. You didn't hear a lot of calls of like, whoa, what a flatliner at that point, I think, in WWE, at least not that I recall. And that was most of what I was watching besides Lucha Underground at that juncture. So I thought flatliner was his, and I thought that the whole thing was because, somebody flatlines when they're about to die, Mil Muertes, death. So I thought it was kind of on brand, but I agree with you now in retrospect, thinking about it and being like, man, it would have been cool if they'd given it a name just for him.
Yeah, and once again, Catrina is licking things. Like, she is probably not doing well in the Huh?
She licks Famous B's chin.
Yeah, and
I'm just like, ooh, that seems weird.
Man, remember the good old days before the virus when we could just go around licking people as an ominous warning?
I'm gonna bring it back. I'm gonna do it. And it'll be extra dangerous. I might get arrested now. So it'll be even more exciting.
Do it on the Jericho cruise. I'm sure that's sanitary.
I feel like I probably have done that on the Jericho cruise. I could believe that. I don't remember some stuff. It's totally possible.
All right. Well, we get Drago getting a promo where he not only practices lucha, but he apparently can use nunchucks.
He's Drago, man.
Yeah, he's Drago, and we get Drago versus King Cuerno next, and I do believe this is our first rematch of Lucha Underground, and Cuerno is doing better this time around and not giving Drago room to be the technical marvel he was last time. There's a lot of high-impact Lucha action this time around with Cuerno able to escape that weird clutch thing. And the mystery black leather woman appears and stands once again, yes. And Cuerno is able to win with the thrill of the hunt on Drago.
Definitely interesting seeing the mysterious woman come back. Also, not to go too far back, but Cuerno's entrance, deer head crown, incredible. Just want to say, I loved that. I totally forgot about that. I've forgotten about so much stuff of Lucha Underground, but I looked at that again. And I'm like, that's just because Drago always has a really good entrance aesthetic, for lack of a better term, with the tongue and everything like that. I've always really liked that about Drago, and it's something that he's kept up. So seeing the King Cuerno with the huge crown, I loved it. And yeah, I'm trying to remember because I'm only watching a couple of episodes at a time. I'm not trying to get too far ahead of what I'm talking about because I don't want to skew things. So I'm trying to remember when we find out a little bit more about that mystery woman.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't gone that much further ahead, though, to be fair. We do get Johnny Mundo standing in the middle of the ring, calling out Cueto and threatening to get rid of Cueto's key if he doesn't bring him his $100,000. Big Rick tries to come get Johnny out of the ring, but Johnny Mundo flies out the ring, attacks Big Rick. Conan tries to say that Mundo owes that money to Puma, since Puma has been attacked due to Mundo. And as Big Rick attacks Mundo, Puma comes out to make the save and rescue Johnny Mundo. After they clear out Big Rick, those two start fighting each other. Refs come out to break up the fight between the two. And Cueto comes out of his office to say that the $100,000 will be hung from the rafters next week in a ladder match.
In a $100,000 ladder match. Also, I have to say, I loved... not to go too far back from what you're talking about, but I loved how Dario was just like, oh, that money that was supposed to be yours has been promised to Big Rick, but Big Rick didn't read the fine print in his contract because he's got to earn it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just like, wow, no loyalty anywhere. Dario Cueto was amazing.
Yeah, he's all about that hustle. No loyalty or respect.
All hustle. I respect it.
Our final match of the night is a tag team match, playa. It is an intergender tag team match, playa.
Yeah.
It is Fenix with Sexy Star versus Pentagon Jr. and Chavo. And it is interesting to see how Chavo works with these guys, as Chavo is a very grounded luchador, and the heels start off with a lot of control. Chavo and Pentagon work really well together, but it is genuinely impressive to see how much chemistry there is between Fenix and Pentagon Jr. at this point. Sexy Star makes a beeline for Chavo, and I got nervous for Sexy Star when she dived onto Pentagon Jr. on the outside. Because she lands, she looks like she lands straight up at the temple, on the temple stairs. Like, it
looked a little bit kind of like how, her arm had hooked around the railing as she landed. Because then I think immediately after she kind of went to go grab her arm shoulder, and I was just like, oh God, she's broken her arm. But like, totally. Also, I'll try to make this a theme, but my thirst reaction to that dive was, can I jump on Penta like that and he catch me? Just that.
Hey, easy. No being horny here.
Hey, I've already told Penta I would marry him. I looked him in his face and I'm like, I love you. I would marry you if I could. And he just sort of laughed nervously and was like, hey, yeah, let's take the picture.
I've got a story for you after this show. But if Phoenix is able to show off just his incredible agility, there's a really cool combination, a super kick code red by Sexy Star and Phoenix, with a really high Meteora from Phoenix, for good measure, to let Sexy Star get the pin for the win.
Which I thought was nice.
Yeah, very exciting.
Although it's, to me, I'm trying to, like I said, I haven't been watching ahead of stuff, but I'm trying to remember if it becomes significant at any point that in the two tag team matches that Sexy Star's had, her male partner has hit the finisher and let her get the pin.
Huh. That, I haven't really noticed that, but that is a very good point.
They brought it up with Chavo when she was tagging with Chavo, where they were just like, oh, and Chavo letting her get the pin there against, I think it was Zemdom?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Son of Havoc. Sorry, I should refer to him by his name in this. Son of Havoc and Ivelisse versus Sexy Star and Chavo. And now with Phoenix allowing her to get the pin against Pentagon Jr. Interesting, though, that she didn't get to pin Chavo. So definitely leaves a lot more storyline open there. Because Chavo can also like, you didn't beat me, you beat Penta.
Right. And that's the end of our show. Like I said, next week we'll have a ladder match. But I've got to say, I am kind of surprised they didn't end on that announcement, but that they ended on this match instead. But you know what? It's always good to go off with a match. And yeah, this week, what were your thoughts on this episode?
like I said for last week, I'm really easy as far as finding something to like in wrestling. I really liked this tag team match a lot. Not only was it nice to be wistful and remember Sexy Star, but also getting to see the Lucha Brothers on opposite sides of one another, which, if you've been watching them recently, it's been a nice change because they've been tag teaming together, in AEW and other promotions, AAA, I think Impact as well. So getting to go back and be like, hey, yeah, remember Lucha Underground? They were on opposite sides in the very beginning. It's been kind of interesting to see or remember how they used to work as opponents and see how they work together as a tag team currently. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, for sure. And again, we had really good wrestling here. Exciting rematch. I do think it was a little early to pull the trigger on a rematch between Drago and King Cuerno.
King Cuerno.
But again, it might just be a case of, this was running like a traditional TV show, and you've only got an hour, so maybe you just don't want to risk dragging out something too long. Who knows? This show does go syndication length, so we'll see how this plays out in the future when it comes to any more rematches.
Also, I'm unsure as to what their shoot schedule was, so it might have just been like, they only had this set of people here for these amount of days, so you need to shoot a set of maybe 12 or 13 matches within this amount of time, and then you parse them out in different points. So I'm not sure what their shoot schedule was. I have to admit I haven't been paying that much attention to the audience in the background to see if there's the same people sitting in the same spots with the same clothes from episode to episode.
Yeah, I've looked at it, and it's actually, looks like they're shot on different days when I was looking on Wikipedia to just kind of see what takes place when. It does seem like, because I looked without trying to ruin the matches for me, because it does seem like there are a couple things that might air out of sequence, or at least might have been shot out of sequence, coming up in the future. But for now, they are shot on different days, but the fact that they had such a high energy crowd was great. I am curious. I know. I am kind of curious what they did to warm up the crowd. I'd love to see like this library that probably exists of Lucha Underground dark matches. I've got a couple friends who are there quite often. I might interview them at some point on the show, just kind of as something to do during breaks when we've got to slow down between seasons. But yeah, overall, the show's continuing to impress me. And hey, I always love seeing another Exotico. That was fun. Pimpinela's been doing this for fucking ever.
Yeah.
So yeah, good job. And again, love seeing my boy Famous B out there. But hey, you know what, Angie? We are done talking about Lucha Underground. Please let everybody know where they can find you.
So I am part of Mid-Card Mana, which is sometimes two of us. It's myself and Sam Kill, the Wrestling Connoisseur, and we are both from Hawaii. So we hopefully have a little bit different of perspective as far as the storied history of pro wrestling in Hawaii and how we kind of use that to view wrestling today. That is Mid-Card Mana on YouTube. You can just search that up because we are both mid-carders. That's the reason why we're Mid-Card Mana.
And you'll find me everywhere as Frisco Flame or R. Felix Finch. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you. Make sure you subscribe, like. Stay tuned every Wednesday and Friday for more Underground Lucha things. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, you know what? I appreciate you. But come over to YouTube, watch us, take a look, see my many pins. You know what? There's a lot of negative space here. I'm going to be working on filling that up. Make it a game. See what I move around. I've been wearing a hat that has one, but I haven't. Look, I've got a couple Lucha Underground pins here. Shaza McKenzie, love her. Here you go. Look, I'll show Angie. I know you love this. Here's a little bit of Hiromu. Yeah.
There you are. There he is. Love my life, Hiromu Takahashi. He was born 20 days before me, so I'm pretty sure he's the one.
All right, but thank you guys very much for Angie and for myself. Peace out, party peoples. We will see you next time. Oh, and be sure to follow us on Twitter at Lucha Things Show.